Look at us. We've got a new store.
Yeah, we do. It's pretty exciting.
What can you find there?
We have a number of designs available on t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, laptop and phone cases, pillows, and new designs are coming in all the time.
Sounds like a great place to shop for authors and readers.
Yeah, and it's easy to find. It's simple. Just visit indiebooksource.com, click on the store tab, and you're there.
Welcome to Meet the Author, where you can join in on insightful conversations with best-selling and award-winning indie published authors. Your hosts today are Rob and Joan, who themselves are indie published authors, book publicists, and paranormal investigators with Tampa Bay Spirits, based in Tampa Bay, Florida. Thanks for dropping by. And now, on with the show.
Hello there, I'm Rob.
And I'm Joan. Welcome back. It's good for us to be back. Last week was not a live show. It was pre-recorded, so we always love our live shows. While you're watching, please remember to like, share, follow, and comment. We love the comments. Hello, George. How are you doing?
Hello, George.
Glad to see you. We're glad that we're live. We're glad that you're live.
And Chris. Good
Hey,
evening to you
Chris.
too, sir.
Good evening.
Well, let's see. What do we got going on? Oh, we have it. Oh, and I see Joe Conjol.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Glad to see you here.
There you go. Wanted to show our latest, wherever it might be. Where did it go?
I don't know. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for our latest
T-shirt.
t-shirt.
I think
Where
you
did it
covered
go?
it up.
Nope, it's way up here. There it is.
There it is.
There it is. Read. That's the latest t-shirt available in our store. So drop by and check it out. It's available on like 20 different other products. And James
Rickard.
How you doing,
Hello,
James?
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all the ships at sea.
All the ships at sea too. Wow. Okay.
You're older than you look, James.
So we're back from North Carolina. Glad to be back. And we have with us, we didn't bring him with us. He's up in New York.
Yeah.
Author Orlando Sanchez has agreed to come back on again. Author of 27 novels and numerous short stories, mainly urban fantasy type of writing. And he's got a lot to share with us tonight. Hello, Marjorie.
Hi, Marjorie. Almost right on time. Yeah.
Almost.
Good.
So without much ado, why don't
Let's
we
bring
bring in Orlando to join us?
Hi,
Hello, Orlando.
Hello.
Thanks for being on the show again.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for everyone that's here and joining us.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got a good
It's
group
a pleasure.
tonight.
It's definitely a pleasure. I'm going to be having coffee because that's my thing.
Oh, yeah. Go
That's
right ahead.
That's a good thing. We don't want you to doze off during the show.
No, that would not be good.
No. I mean, we like to talk to each other, but
Yeah, but
we're here to talk to you.
as I'm snoring in the background, that would not be good.
Actually, those that were watching when there was that outage in Australia knows that we can only talk to each other
For so long.
And then we had to call in the troops. George had to come in and
I
help
totally
us.
understand. Totally.
There we go.
Trish Pipkins
Hi,
is
Trish.
in the house.
Hello,
Hello, Trish.
So, Orlando, for those
Yes.
that haven't met you or heard, about your fantastic books, can you tell
Thank
us
you.
a little bit about how you got started?
Wow. Well, I've always been into writing. Like when I was much younger, I would journal. And then I got involved in Dungeons and Dragons at a very young age with the neighborhood kids. And after some time, I became the DM. I was one who was the dungeon master. So I would create the stories, the dungeons.
Yeah.
And it was a big group that we'd all run through. And I would make sure that everything was the way it needed to be. And you needed graph paper. You had to map out the dungeons. It was a whole thing. And it had an assortment of books that went with the dungeons. And so there's a lot of reading, like homework. I gave myself extra homework. And over time, those events turned into, I should start writing stories. But I didn't really get to write stories until much later in life. I think I had to live some of life a bit first before I could think, okay, let's get some of these ideas down. You add to that a bunch of TV growing up and reading other books. And I was a voracious reader when I was much younger. I mean, I still am, but when I was really young, I would read nonstop. I mean, I read to the point where I would, under the covers with the flashlight and the book, and it's bedtime, go to sleep. Yeah, okay. And then my mom would come in, turn everything off. So that was me. So and then that eventually developed into becoming an author and writing.
That was me too. I was that kind of a reader, and I was always disappointed when a book ended.
Same.
Yep.
Yeah, and I would never go anywhere without a book. So anywhere I went, I had a book. I had to have a book with me. Anywhere I went.
Yep. And so we used to go on cruises, and I was so happy when I bought a Kindle because
you just sit there in the library.
Cruises, I'd be having a suitcase of just books,
Exactly. Well, I used to have a storage unit here in New York, and it was about half filled with books. Before I moved all the books home, it was about half full of books. Now I have, several Kindles, some for the little ones, and they're full of books because, so the Kindle was a great thing for me in terms of anytime I walked into Barnes & Noble, I'm just going to get one book. Yeah, like 2, 3, 4 bags of books I would walk out with. So.
Yep.
There you go.
Joe Conjal says the best writers are always big readers.
I totally agree. Yes.
I think that's true, Joe.
I think it's very true. It's very true.
I wanted to touch on, let me see. Let's bring up first we'll bring up some of your, where people can reach you. Okay.
All right.
On Facebook, you can find Orlando at O Sanchez Author, OSANCHEZ Author.
That's right.
On Twitter, Author O Sanchez.
I try to
See
make
a
it
theme
easy.
here?
You kind of switch it around a little bit.
I love it, though. I love it. It makes my job easier.
Yeah.
Your website is orlandosanchez.com.
Orlando A. Sanchez.
Orlando A. Sanchez. Ooh, thanks.
They didn't let me go to Orlando Sanchez.
Don't forget the A. That's a great website, by the way.
Thank you.
You've got everything laid out
website.
really nicely. And,
thank you. It's taken a little bit of work.
Go peek at his website, you guys. It's really, really good.
It's really nice. Yeah, he's done a good job on that.
Yeah, and all of his books are there.
Yep.
And
good
explanation about his books, little introductions to them.
Right, little blurbs,
Interested.
You can also find him on indiebooksource.com.
I'm there as well. I think I was there really early on.
You were one of the first.
One book, books.
When you had only written a few books.
I think you might have had 2.
We've known you a long time.
One or two. Yeah, one or two.
Like the first 2, yeah. And you jumped right on there as soon as we opened up. And,
27 books later.
Hanging in there. We can't fit all your books on there anymore.
Well, now you need like a separate file.
We need to.
We can't keep up with you.
Some of them out. Here we've got his email is osanchez.author@yahoo.com. Okay. But now I wanted to bring up some of those books so you can talk about some of those books.
Do you want to take them in order from like the Golem?
It's whatever you want to bring up. It's easy. I'll do my best to remember.
I can do anything. I can do it any way you want. Here, we'll do the Golem.
So here's the Golem. I don't want to give away too much. I mean, I guess it's so the guys on the cover are Montague and Strong. Montague is the mage, Tristan, and Simon Strong is a detective who has been cursed alive.
And so this is book 10, right?
Who has been what?
Cursed alive. So he's been given immortality. Right. And so it's not so good in the sense, I'm immortal. More like, immortal. So it's more like that. Okay. And so he teams up with Tristan. They're like a detective team. They figure out these situations that are going on. And one reader said it's light on the detective and heavy on the explosions. And that's kind of apt because there is some detecting, but it's really them reacting to situations, sometimes situations they've created, and then solving those situations. And in this case, there's a golem. I don't want to give too much of the story away, but the golem comes from old Hebrew mythos, and so I try to incorporate all different types of religions and stories and characters and creatures, and so this is really a good story with the golem and how golems were created and who's controlling it and why a golem, things like that. So it's a great story.
The whole golem thing has always been very scary to me.
It's scary. It is scary.
By the way, there will be a book giveaway after the commercial.
There is.
So
sure.
Pay attention to the stories here.
Stick around.
So then there's Dark Glass, same two people.
Yeah, it's always going to be those two in the covers because they are the protagonists of the series, right? Mm-hmm. In this one, so you see there's some who can't see, right? Because we are on radio as well. So the cover has Tristan and Simon, and in the back, usually you don't see these elements, but there's an hourglass. And because this one has to deal a little bit with time. And so I wanted to have some kind of representation of time without saying, it's about time. And so Dark Glass it's a play on an old proverb or an old verse, whereas now I look through the glass darkly.
Darkly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so it was a kind of twist on that, but later on I will see as I am seeing. And so I don't want to give too much away, but it's a story. You should get this one because what happens is that they start from the golem Dark Glass, they start becoming like a river novel, which is they start flowing one into each other. So it's not cliffhanger, but it's together.
We have a comment.
Great.
Trish Pipkin says golems are scary.
They are,
and
yes.
Joe Concha wanted to know, does the detective age and never die, or does he stay the same age forever?
He doesn't age. Yeah, he doesn't age. The mage, who's Tristan, ages, but so slowly that he might as well not age. Because mages in my world age very, very slowly.
Okay. And then Chris Chrisman wants to know, do you mind if I live stream this podcast on Orlando's YouTube channel? And
that's up to you guys.
I
don't think you can.
I don't know how that's.
Yeah.
Because StreamYard may not allow it because they're competing.
Yeah.
So,
but I'll tell you what, Chris.
Our YouTube channel, it's on YouTube also.
Awesome.
On WLFE DB's radio.
On the radio station's YouTube. But Chris, we always give him the MP4 and the MP3 afterwards. So it will be able to go on his YouTube channel. It just won't be live.
That's fine.
But if you go on his YouTube channel and ask them to come onto one of these streams, then they can follow him here for tonight and then watch it live. But yeah, we'll give you all that. But
yeah, Chris is my resident technomancer with all things YouTube and electronic, and he's the one that handles all that stuff. He's amazing.
Okay.
Chris says, I am, but it is okay. I figure it's just another outlet for you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
You betcha. Yeah. We don't mind.
Yeah, because we have a lot of people who would watch you on YouTube.
Yeah.
So,
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we'll put it over onto you guys the file when we're done.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. We always do.
You'll get that.
As much bandwidth as we can get you is awesome. The more, the better.
The more, the merrier. As far as
the merrier. Yes.
That's right. Okay.
You got it, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Let's see here. I assumed that he was one of your people.
He's part of the mob. Yes, he's one of the mob.
He was new in our audience.
He's one of the mob, and he's a mod in our Facebook group. So yes.
I'm fast like that, you know.
You are. It's like lightning.
I figured that out right away.
We got this.
Here we go. So number 12 is Rocking the Razor.
Okay, so first of all, the story behind this cover is a really good one because when I spoke to my design, and I'm sorry that all of you on the radio who can't see, but I will try my best to describe it. I'm pretty good at words. That's a great cover.
Yeah.
So when I gave the concept, I don't design the covers. They're designed by Deranged Dr. Design, who are amazing cover designers, as you can see. When I gave them the idea for this, I said, okay, I needed to depict two sides of Tristan, the dark side and the light side, and kind of he's having somewhat of a schism between his ability, and part of him is good, part of him is bad, and he's wrestling with that internal struggle. So they came up with this, where Simon's in the middle, and there's two Tristans. One's with a red orb of magic, and one's with a white orb of magic, and the red is all on the bottom cover behind the title. And this story is really, even though Simon's prominent in the front, it's really a story about Tristan in regards to his internal struggle with using a darker form of magic. And should he or shouldn't he, and what justifies the use of a darker form of magic? Like, if it's to save a life, is it okay? Or is it something he should stay away from? And so he has this battle, and Simon is there like, you can't do this. You can't go down this path. So Simon serves as his conscience in a way. And so it's a great story. It's a lot of fun. And basically, the one walking the razor is Tristan. He's kind of walking the razor between being good and being evil, and what it means, and should he use this darker magic or not? And Simon's going to nudge him in the right direction. But there are other antagonists that want him to, go down the dark path. So, yeah.
James Rickard,
Thanks, James.
Sorry, James says best cover I've ever seen. Sorry for bring your name again, James.
They are incredible. They're designers at Deranged Doctor Design. I give them a framework to work with. Like I said, I kind of want to have this on the cover, but I don't really specify because I was a graphic designer, so I know. So I give them an idea. Look, this is the idea. This is because I fill out briefs for them, right? And they say, okay, what's the story about? Give us the synopsis, and then what would you like to see? And I kind of give them a loose framework, and then they come up with things that just explode my brain. They are amazing. They are amazing.
It's really good.
Amazing.
Now I get the razor, walking the razor.
Yeah. So that's book 12 in Montague and Strong, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes.
But see, isn't that life though? Walking the razor.
That is life.
Can I do the bad thing for
right? Well, we have the potential for good and bad, right?
Right.
And so we have to make that choice. We have to make the choice. I mean, it's every day, every single day, you're making a choice. Am I going to do the right thing or the wrong?
Not only one choice, but multiple, dozens and dozens of choices.
Every single day. Yeah. Do I respond in a way that's right, or do I respond in a way that might hurt this person's feelings? Even your thoughts? Do I have the right thought, or am I going to think about tearing this person down? So it's a constant tug between those two sides of who we are. And so every day we're walking that razor. And
that's right.
Hopefully, most days we stay on the good side, but we're going to have moments where we go into the darker side, and we have to come back.
Right.
That's the key. So that story is really much a lot about that. And Tristan kind of reconciling that part of who he is. Of, I know I've done things that I shouldn't have done. And Simon's there to tell him, you've got to stay over here on the good side because it's too dangerous for you to succumb to the darker nature. It is for all of us. I mean, the things that we do or contemplate in our darker moments, not pretty. If someone could see our thoughts, it would be like, whoa. Yeah. You know?
Chris says, shiny side up.
Shiny side up. Keep the light side up.
There you go.
Important.
Yeah. Well, I'm a mother with 6 children, and I have Irish heritage, and I was a redhead, so my darker side often took over.
Oh, sure. And you didn't even have to work at it's just there because
no, it was so easy.
For many of us, it's right beneath the surface because a lot of it has to do with our history, how we grew up, how we were raised, the environment that grew up in. Some of it was a defense mechanism, obviously. Some of us were a little older. Realized when we had a rough childhood, had to kind of be that way sometimes as a shield to protect ourselves and to protect those around us. And it's hard to step away from that defense mechanism because it has served us so well. And to be open and let people in, for some of us, is tough. And so I try to bring some of that into the story because we can all relate to that,
Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely.
You see Marjorie's question?
Yes, out of all your books, is there one that stands out as your personal favorite? No, that's like asking which is my favorite child. It doesn't work. They're all each. So here's the thing, especially in the Montague and Strong series, each book speaks to a different part of my life as I was writing them. So it's very hard to say this is my favorite part, this is my favorite part, because this is my favorite book, because each one is part of me. And that's like saying, okay, so which arm would you prefer? Like if you had to give one up, no, I like both my arms, I love all my children. So I don't really have a favorite. I could tell you my favorite characters, but a favorite book, it's going to be really hard because it's such a process for each book to be written. It takes time. Here's what I won't say readers sometimes don't see is that books just don't happen. They take time. They take energy. They take part of you.
Investment.
Yeah, it's a commitment that you make to write a story. And so when a reader gets a book, they just get the finished product, but it is hours, sometimes years in that book, in the making of that book. And it's the investment of the author. It's part of that book. So it's hard to say this is my favorite book because they're all part of you.
How about series? You have several different series.
Yeah, my favorite series would be Montague and Strong. That's my favorite series.
You're the most invested in that one.
Yeah, that's the one that I've been writing the most in. Yeah. But I have a few little, what we call dark horses that I really, really enjoy. The Birth of an Assassin, that series, the Assassin's Apprentice is recently the Darkin series. I have to shout out the NAC, which is the Nixia and Acheron Coalition. So I wrote 3 supposedly short stories. They ended up being 3 novellas. And that's going to become a series. So then I'm recently in a bit of a project called that's under urban fantasy noir. And so that is going to become quickly one of my series. And like Chris is saying, the Night Warden. Night Warden is a offshoot or a spin-off of the Montague and Strong world. And it's set in the same world. So it kind of counts as part of the same series. But it's a whole different character, different series of events. There's so many. They're all interrelated. So
there you go.
Oh, let's see. What got me interested in writing fantasy? Great question, Joe. Is that what you mostly read from entertainment? Okay. What got me interested in writing fantasy? When I grew up, every year I would read The Lord of the Rings every summer.
Yeah.
Every summer I would read it. I never wrote epic fantasy, but Tolkien showed me what was possible.
I knew we were related.
Yeah, there you go. See? So every year I would read Lord of the Rings. I would even read the Silmarillion, which was in that time, people were like, why are you reading that one? It's like, yeah, that one was really interesting. And then it just bled into, I was reading urban fantasy and I was reading Jim Butcher, Tim Harrison, a bunch of modern urban fantasy authors. And I said, you know what? I think I can attempt this. And so, yeah. But I read a lot. But here's the thing. When I'm writing, it's very hard for me to read in the genre that I'm writing. I don't know why. When I'm writing, I'll read things like Larry Brooks on story structure. I'll read very clinical writing books, like how to write better or how to put story structure together, things like that. But I won't read stories. It's a very weird thing with my brain. But when I'm not in the middle of a project, I devour books. So I just devoured the Benedict Jacques series, which was Alex Verus, which was like 12 books. And I got all 12. And I think I read them all like in a weekend and a half. And when I got to the 12th book, I was like, wait, there's more. I'm waiting now for December because I pre-ordered the next one. And so that's how I read. I'll just get a bunch. I look for big series with characters that I enjoy.
Marjorie said among her books, she does have a favorite. It's because she had the most fun writing it.
Yeah, but for me, Marjorie, that's all my books. I have fun writing all my books. So that's why I can't say my favorite. Every book for me goes through, oh, great idea. Let's go and start. And then somewhere in the middle is like, oh, I can't stand this book. I don't want to do this anymore. And then we get to the end. It's like, oh, that's a great ending. Yes. So all my books go through that. Hello, Chanel.
Glad you could make it. Hope you had a nice drive home from work. You are home, right? You're not
driving.
Not driving.
She has tuned into the show before driving.
Really? Oh boy.
Yeah.
No, it's not. The Silmarillion is out of all of Tolkien's books, and Tolkien was a phenomenal author and a phenomenal mind because he created a language, he created a world, right? And there's a reason why he's called the father of fantasy in a sense.
Right.
But the Silmarillion, out of all his books, is the most complicated to read. Yes. You got to take your time with that.
Joe says, fascinating. Thank you for answering.
I'm glad I was able to answer, Joe.
And Chris?
Oh yeah. So here's the problem. I have this problem, this issue, where my short stories don't stay as short stories. So I always say they go feral because I start out with it's only going to be a 10,000 word story, 20,000 word story, and it balloons into 30, 40K. So I've given up writing short stories at this point. I'm just going to write novellas. The problem is that some of the novellas turn into novels, so I have to really be careful. But I'm trying to stick to 20 to 30, 35K and just call it novellas. We're good. Short stories, I've given up on short stories. I can't do short stories anymore. I've tried it. I've got a few. And I have one, I think that the lowest one is 8,000 words. The most recent one was like 11,000 as a short story. And even that one was like, oh, it's just the beginning. Like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? So my stories go feral and they get out of control.
There you go. Well, we're going to break for our commercial now.
Take a short break,
Take a short break. And I did want to preface this next commercial with a little bit of background, so because it's a little different. It's about the Rochester Parafest up near Rochester, New York. It's coming up in the spring, March 25th, 26th, 27th. Sure. It's a fundraiser for the Veterans Outreach. Okay, there's going to be it's paranormal, mystical, horror, sci-fi, cryptids. There's numerous celebrities, lectures. Vendors going to be there. Many of the celebrities are from the Travel Channel, from some of the shows there. But it's all to support the Veterans Outreach, and which is strongly supported by our radio station. So, that being said, I'm going to shut up and play the commercial.
Well, let me explain why we had to say that, though. Because our station manager made this commercial, and he made it for the live stream, not for the radio. And if you're listening on radio, you're going to have 2 minutes of music.
Yeah, you'll hear the music, but try to go to, if you're going to be anywhere near Rochester,
live,
try to make it over there to try to support that. It's a good cause. So hang on, we'll be back in a few minutes with our
and we
book
see
giveaway.
Your comments. We'll bring them up.
We will catch up as soon as we get back.
WLFE Digital Broadcast Network presents Variety Unlimited Television. Watch shows like Meet the Author Podcast, The Bipolar DM, Just Cindy, Card Pulls and Coffee, Unfiltered Talk with Bryce, and more. That's right, our shows are your shows on WLFE Digital Broadcast Network. And now, back to the show.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
That looks like a lot of people.
Chanel, yeah, a lot of people are going to be there. Chanel has a question.
Sure. Do you write with noise and music around you? I write, you see these headphones? These are noise canceling headphones. I have music. I listen to vocal trance music because it shuts down the sensor in my brain. So it keeps the sensor occupied, and I'm kind of like writing and making sure the sensor doesn't pay attention. So I use vocal trance. Melodic because it's kind of operatic, and so it kind of fades into the background. And sometimes it becomes the music to the soundtrack, to the screenplay in my head, and so it works.
And George will talk to you about that after the show, okay? We see your question. And Chris, how long have you been doing these podcasts?
Talking to you guys.
Huh?
I think he's talking to you guys, not me.
Yeah.
Last February, we had our first show, mid-February, so we're under a year so far. This is number 3, episode 33.
Nice.
Every Wednesday.
But we were taking one Wednesday off a month to travel, and now we just pre-record.
Them. Yeah.
That's good.
So we've actually been on longer than 30 weeks, but yep. Chris says, okay, nice. Yeah, it's been fun. We like all of our authors, and it's been a really good time. And Chanel is answering you, Orlando. She's saying that's very interesting how you listen to music.
Yeah, I know some authors can't have any sound. I know authors who need complete silence. And I know some authors who listen to death metal, and some authors listen to classical music. So I think it varies on the author's brain and what they need to be creative. Yeah.
Hey, Dominic.
Hi, Dom.
Welcome to the show. And Chris says your show bi-weekly works good for Orlando's show.
We have 2 shows a month.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, let's get on to number 13.
We now have 4 shows a month.
Whoa.
What did
yeah, you guys are busy.
I know.
We almost lost you guys.
You need to let me. He tried to take over my job.
What am I doing?
Don't do that.
I don't know. Don't do that.
Okay.
Let me do
Never mind.
This is why when I do my show, I just do talking. I don't do the other stuff.
There you go. Well, I'm over here doing this and this. What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What you
we want to
doing.
go to number.
I know.
That one.
Remember
That's
that
the
one? Yes.
I do know what I'm doing.
Requiem. Wow.
I don't know.
Wow, this book has surprised me. I don't know how or why, but it was so. I mean, all the books that I have are really. I've been fortunate to have them all well received. But if you notice the cover, so let me describe the cover a little bit. The cover here is Simon is center, but really in the foreground, and Tristan's a little bit in the background, right? And there's not much magic if you notice, just the blue. Because this story is mostly about Simon and his past coming back to he has to confront the deeds of his past. And so he's really the main character of this story. And he kind of has to put his past to rest. That's what's called a requiem. So, And so this book got a lot of fantastic, all the books get great reviews, but this one surpassed the first book, which has been out for, 8 years at this point. Wow. And so it's been 4 or 5 years. 5 years, I think. 2016, about 5 years. So Two Mirrors and Butterflies is the first book. Requiem got more reviews in a shorter time than Two Mirrors and Butterflies has had the whole time. Wow. So I don't know why.
Interesting.
It's amazing. It really, I've tried to analyze it, but I realized at this point, I just say, okay, that's what it is. It is what it is. But it's a great story. Simon is front and center in this one, and it's you can't escape your past. You can't run from it. You could try, but sooner or later it catches up with you. And this story is Simon kind of dealing with the events of his past, what organization he belonged to in the past, why he was trying to run away from it, and how he deals with that. And Tristan is there in this case to kind of help him confront all of that. So it's a great story.
Chanel said she's found music as part of most writers' routines when curating.
Yes, it's been my experience. I have yet to really meet, at least in my circle of writers, a writer who needs complete silence. One, because it's very hard to do. You have to soundproof a room, I would imagine. And two, the voices in our head, this is my personal opinion. Most writers are insane. And so the voices in our heads get loud. And so the music kind of calms it down. I think the end result of every writer is that we all end up crazy by the time we're like at the end of our writing careers, and we're just talking to ourselves. But it's not. We're talking to our characters, but it looks like we're talking to ourselves.
There's that monk that teaches meditation, and I just love him. He talks about the monkey brain. The monkey brain never shuts up. It's just talk. If you ever try to meditate, it's like,
oh yeah, that's when you try to meditate. That's when, okay, I got to do laundry. I got to do the dishes. I got to get the car to get fixed. Everything comes up. You're just like, no. So writers are the same way, except that you're working on this story. As you're working on this story, oh look, that's a great idea over there. You should write that one. No, I'm writing this one. No, that story is really good. You don't want to write that one. That story is horrible right now. That shiny idea happens all the time.
There you go. Hey, we need to get your book giveaway going before we run out of time here, because we do want to give away some books, right?
We do, yes.
All right, here we go. Book giveaway. The first 5 people to email osanchez.author@yahoo.com will win an ebook copy of their choice. We are showcasing books 10 through 14, right?
Yeah.
Right now. And one or two other ones coming up here. But there's others. If you want to start at the begining, just go to his website.
Yeah, just put it
you'll have a choice.
Just check. Put it in your email, like which book you'd like, and I'll email it. I'll digitally send it to you.
It's his website is really good. You can have little blurbs and find out, what piques your interest.
Yes.
Monkey brain on crack. Yeah, I've got a monkey brain on crack.
That's basically what it is. Yeah. I mean, also in this day and age, so many things are vying for our attention that it's really hard to sit down and focus for, let's say, a good 2, 3, 4 hours. I mean, it's hard to get the 4 hours to begin with, but 2, 3, or 4 hours to sit and focus and be creative. To be a writer, most people who don't write think you just sit down and it happens. You have to kind of tap into that side of your brain, that side of who you are, so that you can actually look at a blank page and create something from nothing. That's basically what you're doing. That's not easy. That really takes a lot of work, and you have to be in the right mindset, and you have to have the right environment, and there are a lot of factors that have to go into you sitting down and getting it done. And the thing is that if you get interrupted, it's almost like a reset button. And now you have to go back and kind of start all over again, because you're about to do this, and if you have children or little ones, hey Dad, you're like, oh, okay, let me go deal with that. Then when you come back, you gotta have to kind of all over again, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
Robert White, I just have a cracked monkey brain. Hey Robert, welcome to the show from Australia. How is it in Australia this morning?
Way down under.
Oh, he is. Robert, I forget. I know it's in Rockhampton, Queensland. Yeah, no.
Something like that.
Again, George said he likes to listen to Enya when he writes. So that
I like Enya.
That would be a good one.
Very soothing,
really good one to listen to.
I listen to, when I write, I'm listening to vocal chants. When I'm editing, I'll listen to ambient music because it's a different brain. And something like Enya would work for editing for me because it's very calming and I can focus on what I need to fix as opposed to creating. So it's 2 different processes. Like the creative part needs a soundtrack and the editing part needs something calming and soothing, kind of like, okay, you can do this now.
Right.
Heather says she has a whole playlist of songs when writing or listening to an audio book.
Hi, Heather. Welcome.
And Robert says it's good. Cloudy. Missed the Leonids due to clouds. Oh, that's too bad because we took one of our telescopes with us to watch when we were up in the mountains. Trish says she wishes Enya had new music, right?
Enya hasn't produced anything in a long, long, long time. Yeah.
And Chris says that he has to block out at least 3 to 4 hours if he's going to get any writing done. Turn my phone off, etc.
It's a process because you can say I have 4 hours. Yeah.
I've got mine turned off right now.
I didn't know you could turn them off.
You can.
They're always ringing.
Well, it's a process. You block out 4 hours, but you don't really use all the 4 hours to get the writing done. You got to kind of.
No, because monkey brain's talking.
Yeah, you work your way into it, And so, 4 hours is a good chunk of time. You might get a good hour and a half of good writing in there, maybe, depending on the day. So it varies.
I think what surprised me the most was how character-driven. Oh, George says Enya has a new album.
There you go. I didn't know that.
That's cool. I didn't know that either,
No.
George.
I'll have to look that up for sure.
Me
Thank
too.
you, George.
Yeah, thanks.
I like it.
I didn't realize how character-driven books could be and how invested you become in your characters and how much the character drives the story because of what they would or wouldn't do.
Yeah.
It's they're like real people.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and this has been my experience. So there are writers who are plot driven and there are writers who are character driven. I'm very character driven.
Mm-hmm.
When you focus on the character, this is when you start becoming schizophrenic because you're having conversations. You're not so much writing the story, but you're having a conversation as to what would this character do in this situation.
Are you asking for help?
No.
Okay.
I thought maybe it was a cry for my head.
I thought it was a cry for help.
Not at all. It's just that I realized early on that when you're character driven, you're going to be having conversations in your head with the various characters. Yes. And sometimes you'll write something and the character will say, I would never say that. And you're like,
that's exactly right. When I'm writing dialogue, it's really difficult for me because it's like, that's not right. The character's like, I distinctly remember some dialogue I was trying to write recently that I meant to be funny, and literally the character said, "That's not funny. I wouldn't say it."
I would never say that. Right?
Not funny.
Wait, there was a comment about TV.
Joe,
it's so weird, Joe. That's for a lot of people. That white noise is important. It's like when I used to write in a coffee shop. I used to write in Starbucks. I would only do my writing in Starbucks, not because I love the coffee so much, even though I love coffee, but because I needed the ambient noise of people talking and the noise of like things happening and people putting cups down and all. So that ambient noise is very much like the TV in the background.
Okay, here's another comment.
Hi, Linda. Linda's one of the mob. Almost all my books become feral. I really know. I try out with every good intention not to let them go feral, and they inadvertently they're on their own. It's like, yeah, you have this much you're gonna say? Yeah, I don't think so. We're writing this much, and we're going in this direction. It's like, oh, really? Like recently, the project that I won, I just had a tangent that added another 5,000 words. Are you kidding me right now?
It's changed.
Yeah, Joe. TV in the background is like white noise. It's really it does help a lot of authors.
TV in the back room. Marjorie also, and James likes 24-hour.
There you go. I think what it is, the authors that I've asked about the TV in the background is that because writing can be so solitary, it gives you the illusion that you're around people, so you can kind of be writing and you have people in the background, but they're not bothering you. They're just background noise. As
long as it's nothing you're interested in, like
right, because then you'll be like, huh?
Because then you're not.
Then you're not focused, right?
It is just background then.
Blah, blah, blah,
it's
blah,
white
blah.
noise. Yeah, it's white noise. Chris needs silence, so that's hard. So I can't write with silence or outside. That works. That's my favorite. That's my favorite place, Chris. And they have soundtracks now that simulate nature, rivers and birds, and so if you have to be indoors and you can't be outside, you can have that playing in the background. And then it feels like you're outside. So
Except my little monkey brain goes, that isn't real.
But it's
We're
not real, right?
outside.
So part of you in your head, you're like, that's not real.
Okay, let's get to this book, Divine
Wow.
Intervention.
Book 14.
Then
This
we
is
got
the most
another book
recent-
I really want people to see.
Yeah, this is the most recent book, Divine Intervention. I really can't spoil this one because if you're getting to book 14, you're not going to see this one coming. But
Okay.
this is an enemy. Okay, let me describe the cover because there are people who can only hear. So Monty and Simon. Monty is short for Tristan Montague, so his nickname is Monty. So Monty and Simon in the front, all black, looking very, very cool. And in the background is a person kind of screaming with their arms outstretched. And so that persona in the back is someone that's been haunting them or kind of after them since book 1. And he makes cameos throughout the series. And things are ramping up now to a big confrontation with that person that's in the background. And it's a gorgeous, this is like one of the gorgeous, I mean, they're all gorgeous, but this is with the purple. So it's a contrast of orange and purple and black, and the cover is gorgeous. It's like, wow. When I saw this, I was like, okay, I just want to write the story now because it just looks so amazing.
It is. So, it's really, really a cool cover. Let's see what this comment is. Oh, James says silence makes him nervous.
Especially when you have kids.
Right?
Silence is like something is wrong. Wait a minute.
Boy, that's for sure.
Okay, this is the cover I wanted everyone to see because this really speaks to me.
Bangers and Mash. Okay, so
I love that.
This is one of those short stories that took off and became feral, and it's like, now it's going to be a series of its own. This duo made their cameo appearance in one of the Monty and Strong. This is set in the Monty and Strong world. So they made a cameo in Monty and Strong, in the Golem, actually. They're in the Golem. And basically, they're a parody of Monty and Strong. So Bangers is the mage. He's the one that's holding the. So the cover is you see a mage with energy in his hand, and his partner Mash is just standing there. I think he has a gun in his hand, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So they're a paranormal investigative group. They're paranormal investigators of the arcane. So if you take that acronym, that's what they are, right? A PITA. And so it's a parody. Bangers takes himself too seriously, and Mash is the realist. And so they really are like I told you before. They're like the Abbott. I'm dating myself. They're like the Abbott and Costello of the Monty and Strong world. So they bungle their way through everything, and they manage to solve the situation, but it's the hardest way possible, the most scariest way. It's like they almost do it by accident. And they have help from the other characters, which gives a good kind of foil so you can see how out there these two are. And it's a lot of fun to write. I've never really written funny before because I don't consider myself funny. Snarky, yes. But this is outright humorous, and I found it like, I don't know if this is going to be funny at all. But they took on a life of its own. Bangers has a specific way of speaking. He's very self-important. He very much so. The only reason that people like Bangers is because at his core, he's a good person, and he believes in what he's doing. It's just that he's very clueless about what he's doing. And Mash is like, okay, he's more of the pragmatist and realist. Like we can't do this. We can't just go and blow up this building. It's not a good idea. And Bangers would be like, why not? It serves our purpose. We have to go, so it's that kind of push and pull. And so I named them Bangers and Mash because it's after the English breakfast, more or less. And it was a real catchy name, Bangers and Mash. Like, oh, that sounds so fun. And so there you have Bangers and Mash, the Abbott and Costello.
Fun to me.
Yeah.
George made a comment, and I'm sure it was applicable to one of our comments. He said,
sure.
Yeah, my guys do that. They haunt him.
I believe it.
He has a few. Oh, the silence, yeah.
That's why. Oh, the silence, yeah.
Yeah, that probably was it. That I think we have one more down here.
The Rule of the Council.
Oh, Rule of the Council. Wow. So this series, let me just show you I'm sorry for the people who are listening. This is what it looks like. You can see it as one book because the readers.
This one down.
Yeah, because the readers demanded
it. Let me take this down.
I'm
going to hold it up.
So it's really thick.
Oh, that is thick.
Yeah, it's like, whoa. The readers wanted a paperback version of that book. And when I wrote the first story, it wasn't long enough. When I wrote the second story, it wasn't long enough. When I wrote the third story, they were all like, it's long enough now. And so I said, okay, fine. I'll make it a paperback book. This is the story.
Ask you a question about that picture.
Is that you?
Did you hurt your hand when you did that?
Yeah, it was hot. It was really hot.
I bet. That's cool. I like the dog too.
I like the dog.
That's Peaches. Too. That's one of the few pictures of Peaches that has been out there. Yeah.
Peaches.
Peaches of the Hellhound.
Of the underworld.
Yeah, he's the star of all the series, Peaches. He's the official, unofficial star.
So Robert wants to know, will the next funny guy be Potato?
Ah, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Well, he could be Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, it could be.
So Robert, I bet you have bangers and mash in Australia. Do Aussies have bangers and mash?
They have bangers. They might have something similar to it.
Yeah.
I would imagine because of the English influence.
Yeah, the English influenced us too, but we don't have bangers.
But we don't do bangers and mash.
No.
So that's the Rule of Counts is the story of Michigo, who is a character in the Mountain Strong world, and she's the director of the Dark Council. And those 3 books go through a story of just her. It just showcases her and her world and what's happening in the Dark Council. It's kind of like a parenthesis between Reaping Wind, which is in the Mountain Strong, and so like book 10, 11, 9, and 15, 16. So somewhere between there is when Rule of the Council happens, like between 9 and 16. So the next book is Stormblood, which hasn't been written yet, and then Revenant, which is the book after that. I mean, I have Mountain Strong scheduled out to like 40 books. So Revenant is when she reappears in the timeline of Mountain Strong. So those 3 books happen within that parentheses.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Robert says similar, but that's definitely British food.
I would imagine, yeah.
Mash.
It's very, very British.
Yeah.
So you've created an entire world.
Yes.
A whole universe.
A whole universe.
I try not to call it universe because other authors have used universe.
Yeah.
And I caught a lot of flack from readers. Oh, you're just using, so I'll just call it a world because that's what it is. A world. Yes, but an entire world. Yeah.
George says, I'm impressed with how prolific you are. 27 books. Wow. And you're obviously not done. No,
And
he's not
those
done.
are just the novels, right?
Yeah, there's a ton of short stories. Like, well, I call them short stories. They're really like novellas.
Novella.
Like
a lot of novellas too. So
19
you're just
novellas.
rolling right along, huh?
Well, Robin Jones has known me since I was 1 or 2 books in.
Yeah,
Really,
1 or 2
1 or
books
2
in.
books
We
in.
remember. That's
Yeah.
how long we've known
Yeah.
him.
So
It's the M&S world.
yes, the M&S world. That's what we call it. M&S
We
world.
need to end this here.
Yeah.
It's
It's
time has
like-
gone by. I don't know where this time has gone by.
It's gone by so fast.
It's
I don't-
unbelievable. Right?
I'm looking at the time in the corner where it says live, and I'm like, it's
Uh-huh.
52 minutes in. How did that happen? I don't know.
I certainly don't know.
We warped time. It's like, whoa.
We really could have had more time. We needed more time
Yeah.
to talk.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll have you back again next year, maybe. Huh?
Sounds good. Whenever
After
you need me,
write about
I'm
20
here. It's
You
an
should have
honor.
about 20 more books written by
Well, I have a
January, right?
bunch by then. Yeah, next year it's going to be a busy year. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
we're
my
trying to end the shows on the hour so that we can then
Bring
you
it
know,
back to the
bring
rerun
it back
if we need to.
as a
Yeah.
rerun. Chris
Sure.
says, Rob, I love the poster. I want to believe. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
we love
indeed.
it.
That's a great poster.
Yeah, it was a great show.
So, Orlando,
Yes.
thank you very much. Oh, we got
One more comment from
maybe
Joe.
if you can
Concho.
answer this in 30 seconds.
Yeah, sure. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I go to the gym by 5. And so I train from about 5 to 6, 6:30, come back home, take the little ones to school, come back home by 8-ish, 9-ish. And I start writing it from 10 to about 2. And then at that time, the day is rushing in and things I have to do. So 10 to 2 is really like my block of writing. And then after that, it's editing, other book stuff, book infrastructure stuff, marketing, some book-related things, and then it's away from writing. So I try to write every day from 10 to 2, and I try to crank out 2,000 words, 2 to 3,000 words. Depends on the day. Some days I could do 4,000 words. So it depends on what part of the book I'm in and if I'm busy creating or if I'm just flowing. Depends.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Busy person. Hey, stick around, Orlando. Don't leave until we come back to say hi, say goodbye to you afterwards. I'm going to move you over right now. Okay. There you go. And do you have anything you would like to say?
No, Joe said great show. Really enjoyed listening to Orlando. Thank you. It was a good show, and we appreciate you all showing up and everything you had to say.
And everybody that listens, downloads later on, thank you so much for tuning in and make comments. Email us at carternovels@aol.com if you have any comments about the podcast, and we'll be happy to hear them. I hope. All right. Next week is pre-recorded because it's Thanksgiving. The 24th, it's Thanksgiving Eve, and it'll be Adam Gaffin again. It's a pre-recorded show. And then not in October, but in December, we're going to have KJ Waters on December 1st. So we got a busy schedule for December. We're going to say goodnight now, I think. And do you have anything else to say?
Like, share, follow, comment. We love your comments. Thank you for all your great comments tonight. You're a great audience as usual.
So until next time.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
We have 2 more comments real quick. 3. Oh, Robert says, James said another great show, and Robert said, have a great Thanksgiving. Thank you, Robert. We will.
Thank you. And until next time.
That's it. That's all, folks.
Thank you for joining us here
Who is
on
it?
The Author. Make sure you stay
I'm
up to
in
date
a
with our
meeting.
show by clicking like, follow, and share. And you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and more. See you next time on WLFE-DB.com.
You've been listening to WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.